Welcome back. Welcome back. You made Diamond K in here. The Diamond K Show here on the all new radioonfire.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody. So, yesterday, disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly found guilty on all counts in this sex trafficking trial that has been a long time in the making. Here in the program, of course, we delivered the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with original reporting from across the country, emanating from our studios in Baltimore and Atlanta. The show is fun, the show is upbeat, but I also want to expose what is really going on in this country, and there's a lot going on. Of course, Radio on Fire is Black Voices giving you the American story, and it is a hell of a story. New episodes drop weekdays, 8 a.m., but I don't want you to miss any of our live broadcasts. In addition to the 8 a.m. show, the Diamond K Show, we drop content throughout the day as news happens. We also have a full lineup of original programming here at radioonfire.com. Of course, this morning we're going to be talking about R. Kelly. R. Kelly, the music superstar. Who has a lot of issues going on, long reported. The Chicago-born R&B singer sat in federal court in New York yesterday to get, the verdict, surrounded by his attorneys. But this man looked very much alone. Gone were, the superstar trappings that his stardom brought him. Gone were the entourage, bodyguards, managers, drivers, runners, sycophants, hanger-oners. Most of all, gone were the girls. R. Kelly found guilty of sexually abusing women, boys, girls for decades. This really capped off the 90s R&B superstars' stunning fall from grace. It's been a road. It's been a road. R. Kelly faces 10 years to life at his prison sentencing, which is not scheduled until May the 4th of 2022. So he's got a lot of time to sit and wallow in the shame, reflect on what he's done. A jury of 7 men and 5 women deliberated for about 9 hours across 2 days before reaching the unanimous verdict. I cannot say that I'm happy to see this 54-year-old go to jail, but he's done some things. And he deserves punishment. I really wish this had come a lot sooner. This case is not about a celebrity who likes to party a lot, the assistant U.S. attorney said in her opening statement last month. She said, this case is about a predator. Very harsh words about a predator. So what they had to do was prove a racketeering charge. Racketeering. Prosecutors showed jurors how R. Kelly used a network of friends, employees, folks in his inner circle to move his victims across state lines. That was one of his many mistakes. Controlling their actions, facilitating sexual abuse. This guy did a lot of things, a lot of sick things. There was graphic testimony about what R. Kelly did. And what is so disturbing is that many things we've heard about already. Many things. I mean, we didn't have faces and names all the time. But this was not a secret in the industry that R. Kelly liked young girls. It was not a secret in the industry that R. Kelly had a problem. But because he was successful, because he's talented, these things, I guess, went by the wayside. They were ignored because we living in a crazy world. I mean, why were they ignored? Parents ignored them. I just don't like how this all went down. Until that documentary came out, it seemed like this thing was just going to fly by the wayside. What brought all this stuff out? Because we've been knowing about this for years, at least 20 years. That R. Kelly, DVD was floating around the barbershop in the early 2000s. Who failed these young girls? Now women. Who failed them? Because now all of a sudden they want to bring this man down. And I guess after a lot of his power had waned, is that when he did it? I mean, a lot of things. A lot of things that really stick out in my mind. Diamond K in here at the Diamond K Show at Radio on Fire. We are talking about R. Kelly. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Found guilty on all charges. One of his victims was the late R&B singer Aaliyah, whom R. Kelly illegally wed in a Chicago hotel room in 1994 when she was just 15 years old. This is no secret. This was in the Vibe magazine. They had the marriage certificate in the magazine. And of course, we're talking about a time when news traveled slowly. News traveled slowly at that time. We had plenty of opportunity to dissect, sift through, really process these things, because it was not an instant news world. Stuff wasn't traveling that fast back in the day. But regardless, this is one of the things that's taking him down right now. His marriage to Aaliyah. I mean, I found it disgusting at the time. I did. But that did not stop me from still playing his music, selling his music. I mean, no charges were brought up. They were saying it was a rumor. Even though we saw that information, people continued on. It's somebody else's responsibility to take him down, right? That's what we thought. I mean, because nobody did anything. Her family, if we found out in the Vibe magazine back in 1994, her family knew Aaliyah. What did they do? Nothing. I mean, nothing came of it. 1994. This is one of the things now in 2021 that really brought this case. This is one of the things that they focused on, marriage to Aaliyah. Why didn't her family do something then? I mean, I know better late than never, and there were a lot of victims after her. One of the former backup dancers for R. Kelly told jurors that she witnessed R. Kelly performing oral on Aaliyah when she was 13 or 14 years old on a tour bus. Oh, now you remember. Why weren't these charges brought up then? Defense attorneys called several witnesses as the trial wound down. R. Kelly employees and other people whose careers were closely tied to the disgraced star. Try to cast him in a positive light, more positive light. Very hard to do it, though. Very hard to do it because the jurors had been hearing numerous accounts of the character, the actions, just the disgusting nature of this 54-year-old singer, songwriter, producer. So they did what they tried to do, which was, trying to portray him in the best light. Didn't work, though. R. Kelly is just a disgusting story for many reasons. He used his power and his celebrity to recruit vulnerable underage girls. Now we can look at every little case and say, oh, the parent should have did this, or why didn't this happen, or why didn't anybody do anything or over time? And that's a lot of what I'm saying. And it's frustrating because now that this man is at the end of his musical career, he's more on the downside. The big hits were behind him. Then they bring him down. Isn't that usually how it happens, though? R. Kelly did not take the stand in his own defense. Now, I was talking to some folks online. Why didn't he take the stand? And I think he should have took the stand. No, that would have made it even worse. That would have made it even worse for for R. Kelly. Just tuning in, you and Diamond K in here, and I am talking about the guilty verdict of the singer R. Kelly. We're going to take a break, hit some of these sponsors, and then come back with more of this, more reactions. 10 years to life. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take my time with this one. Diamond K in the Morning is brought to you in part by Tasty Moscato. If you could pour sexy in a glass, this would be it. This smooth, seductive Moscato is blended with vanilla, and it takes your palate to a whole nother level of taste me. Unlike most, Tasty Moscato can be deliciously paired with a variety of meats, cheeses, veggies, as well as desserts. It's the sweet taste of luxury that you've been craving It is Tasty Moscato. Search Tasty Moscato on Facebook. That is TASTEETEE Moscato on Facebook. The Diamond K Show also brought to you by Flyers on Fire. If you need a flyer created, Flyers on Fire can design a quality digital flyer in 24 hours. Are you promoting something on social media? Flyers on Fire can help brand your message with a quality flyer. Visit them on Instagram at Flyers on Fire. And of course, I am in here at the Diamond K Show at Radio on Fire talking about this R. Kelly case. But of course, you can get breaking news and adult conversations covering topics that are important to the Black culture. Visit radioonfire.com for our original radio, podcast, and TV programs. You want to support the Diamond K Show? Very easy to do that. Very easy to do that. I'm able to deliver our news and our views because of our listeners, sponsors, and of course, your donations. The Diamond K Show is powered by the people, and we need and welcome your support. Visit radioonfire.com to make a donation. Join our VIP club at the Diamond K Show at Radio on Fire. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Come back with more of the show. Dissecting this R. Kelly guilty verdict. What this means after this. And we are back. So, guilty verdict for the singer, songwriter, 54-year-old R. Kelly. Far away from his hometown. And it's not even over yet. Jury deliberated for about 9 hours in this case. So, the deliberations began on Friday. And, there was a lot of national media attention. And it played out over 6 weeks under strict, security. COVID-19 protocols. Of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Tail end of a pandemic. However you want to, look at that. In addition to the main count of racketeering, he had a bevy of counts. Jury found R. Kelly guilty on all 8 counts of violating the Mann Act. The Mann Act prohibits travel over state lines for illegal sex. That's a whole thing in itself. So Kelly, of course, one of the biggest music stars Chicago ever produced, faces anywhere from 10 years to life in prison. He's going to get sentenced next year, May the 4th, to be exact. And, I don't know. I mean, I wish that this had happened a long time ago. The fact that it's happening now, pandemic rules in place. R. Kelly kept his face mask on and remained expressionless. He knows that he's looking at some numbers. As the jury found out, R. Kelly stood and clasped his hands in front of him. He whispered something to one of his lawyers before being led from the courtroom with his hands behind his back and a security officer led him out. I mean, it's just a very tragic tale. A lot of folks hurt. Women. R. Kelly has this has just been a disaster. Just a disaster. So, did they really set out to make an example of him? Yes. Because this is not even the only trial that he's facing. He's facing trials in other jurisdictions. We'll get to that in a minute. So there was a brief news conference where they did not take any questions in front of the courthouse yesterday. The acting U.S. attorney said that the jury had delivered a powerful message to men like R. Kelly that eventually their crimes will catch up with them. Eventually their crimes will catch up with them. Today's verdict forever brands R. Kelly as a predator, they said. Predator. Who used his fame and fortune to prey on young women. The vulnerable and voiceless for his own sexual gratification. A predator who used his inner circle to ensnare underage girls, men, and women for decades in a sordid web of sex, abuse, degradation, and humiliation. Man, they have painted this guy as a monster. And based on the testimony we heard, that is exactly what he is. The voices of the victims have been heard. Justice has finally been served. I mean, I guess the result that many folks thought should have happened a long time ago has finally happened. I don't see him getting, a light sentence here. I don't. He's been found guilty on all charges. You know what's so ironic about this? I guess it's easier for them to convict R. Kelly than a cop that kills an unarmed person. I mean, they had a lot of testimony, so I guess that made it easier, right? I don't know. Something about this just doesn't sit right with me. R. Kelly did have his supporters in the courtroom. Supporters blasted music in a park across the street from the courthouse. Much of the trial. A woman dressed in a shirt with R. Kelly's image on it held up two middle fingers toward the courthouse and said, "We're not giving up. The government is lying." I mean, I don't know if the government is lying. In all, it was a 7-man, 5-woman jury. Found him guilty. So there were 12 individual criminal acts involved in this racketeering scheme that they outlined. Sex with multiple underage girls, as well as a 1994 scheme to bribe an Illinois public aid official to get a phony ID for 15-year-old Aaliyah so the two could get illegally married. So some of you may be confused and say, wait, didn't he go on trial for this stuff before? And he did. Some of you may be saying, what's the statute of limitations for some of these things? I mean, but he's done so much stuff. But there's a lot of focus on the Leah stuff. Statute of limitations is not out for that. She's not even alive anymore. But he's done so much stuff that even if you throw some of this stuff out, so they just tacked on everything. The jury found the prosecutors had not proven two of the alleged racketeering acts, both involving the same victim, Sonia, who testified she was held captive in Kelly's studio in Chicago and later sexually assaulted by him. And they couldn't prove that one, he said. This is the first criminal conviction after more than 20 years of allegations. 20 years. He should have stopped, but he couldn't because he's sick, clearly. 2008, R. Kelly was acquitted by a Cook County jury of child pornography charges, alleging he videotaped himself having sex with a girl as young as 13. Not sure how he beat that one. But he did not. He did not beat this one. If R. Kelly believes that he could fly, now would be a good time. Millions of records sold. Surviving R. Kelly, that 2019 Lifetime docuseries, which chronicled abuse, more than a dozen girls, young women, several who actually became the focus of this federal investigation. And I think that shining that spotlight on the years and years of abuse, brazen behavior, that's really what sealed the deal for this disgraced singer. 6 months after the series aired, R. Kelly was charged with racketeering in Brooklyn, which is where he was yesterday. So that was July 2019. The trial was delayed several times by COVID-19. The pandemic held things up. Finally got underway last month. And, you may have not known exactly how this was going to go, but this can't be a surprise. This cannot be a surprise to anybody that, it shouldn't be a surprise. There were some 50 witnesses. 50. Including a number of alleged victims who told the jury that Kelly manipulated, controlled them, of course, called himself the Pied Piper. Evidently, he videotaped a lot. But this is another thing that I was talking about. So, in addition to this, I don't know if R. Kelly's going to ever get out of jail. I don't know. His legal worries are not over. This verdict that came down yesterday, the sentencing that's going to take place May 2022, it's still not over. He also faces a pending charge in Chicago, where prosecutors alleged he and two others fixed his 2008 trial in Cook County, as well as 4 separate indictments alleging sexual abuse. They're still pending at Chicago's courthouse there. He also faces a solicitation case in Minnesota, in state court in Minnesota. All serious charges. Especially what he's looking at in Chicago. So it is, R. Kelly defenders and supporters and folks on there that were or are on his payroll, making excuses and trying to do the, he's a star. They're after his money thing. He ain't got no money. Right? He's trying to sell his catalog. That's not going too good. I guess folks are going to wait around till the value of that goes down some more. R. Kelly supporter here, one of his attorneys on his Chicago case, says that I don't believe the evidence presented was enough for a guilty verdict. Of course, you're going to say that. He says this: I believe that Mr. Kelly, being such a public figure, led to an enormous amount of media coverage and television productions that had the court of public opinion already swayed in a direction that is difficult to rebound from. However, we are looking forward to Mr. Kelly having his trial in Chicago, where his innocence can be proved. I mean, okay. What is he talking about? I mean, yes, R. Kelly's a star, and yes, he had the Lifetime. He's obviously alluding to the Lifetime documentary, but innocent? I don't know about innocent. So that is, of course, a supporter, and that's somebody that's on a payroll, so he's being paid to say that is what he's expected to say. And another attorney says that we thought when we were handling it that we had a good chance of prevailing. Knowing what we know about the evidence, he said this to the Chicago Tribune. This is his attorney, last name Greenberg. He said, unfortunately, Robert made a choice to have other people handle it, and I leave it to others to Monday morning quarterback that decision. Of course, Greenberg withdrew from the case after a dramatic shakeup that happened earlier this year. So he is referring to the fact that he had something set up. Of course, he wasn't representing them, which is why this happens, which is where he's going with that. Monday's verdict could change the calculus significantly on the remaining cases. Facing so much prison time, R. Kelly could choose to plead on some or all of those instead of going to trial. I don't think he should go to trial. He may plead out, and alternately, prosecutors in the other jurisdictions may choose to drop some or all of the charges. So he's facing 10 years to life. So we're talking 10 years. Is that the minimum? 10 years is the minimum. He's 54 years old. He's going to be doing some time. He's not getting no smack on the wrist. He's not going to get a smack on the wrist. Another possibility would be for the prosecutors in New York to try to use some of the allegations in other jurisdictions to get stiffer prison sentence. And it could actually effectively turn his sentencing in May into a mini trial on various other allegations. I mean, they're trying to throw the book at R. Kelly. So it's looking like this is actually not over yet. We're going to have to wait a while. U.S. attorney offices in both Chicago and Brooklyn are not, tipping their hat to let us know exactly what they're going to do. But a lot of what happens is contingent on the input from victims. Kim Fox, the state's attorney in Cooks County in Illinois, says that a prolific serial predator. You know, the sexual misconduct has stretched back so far. R. Kelly's behavior was so well known that it's almost become lore. It's like a folk tale. And the fact that he is finally getting punished for these actions, it is something to see. It is something to see. So the only defense that R. Kelly's attorneys tried to paint were the victims as gold diggers and stalkers and super fans that wanted to get close to R. Kelly, and now we're lying to get a payday. I'll let you be the judge of that. Let you be the judge of that. It was just it was just something, you know. I don't like to see or hear about folks being victimized. Young girls, absolutely not. Absolutely not. A lot of times, though, we have cases where every bad thing that happened to someone, they want to kind of channel it on one person. Is he a piece of crap? Yes. Yes, he is. The evidence, yeah, I don't know about evidence. I mean, we had victims talk, and but by way of evidence, it came down to testimony and what folks believed. But I mean, where was proof? As far as proof, well, we had some video footage of some people, and different times in his life, he was able to put money up and get a lot of problems to disappear. But they didn't really disappear. They just faded. They just faded in the background a little bit. Just tuning in, your man Diamond K in here, the Diamond K Show on the all-new radioonfire.com. We are talking about and giving reactions to the guilty verdict for the disgraced superstar R. Kelly. And he has given a statement following this guilty verdict. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of our sponsors, and we're going to take a break and do that right after this. The Diamond K Show is brought to you in part by jstoverbeauty.com. I want to talk directly to all my ladies out there. If you are looking for those must-have beauty products, look no further. jstoverbeauty.com has quality wigs, Indian hair extensions, virgin hair extensions, professional hair care products, edge control, flat iron mist, mink eyelashes, satin wig bags, wax sticks, lace concealer, lace tint, and so much more. jstoverbeauty.com also does custom wig making, maintenance, revamp services. You can check them out on social media. That is J Stover Beauty on Instagram, J Stover Beauty LLC on Facebook. Be a girl with mind, a woman with attitude, and a lady with class. Visit jstoverbeauty.com. And the Diamond K Show also brought to you by the 10th annual Baltimore Music Awards. These awards were created to give recognition to Baltimore's entertainment community. Each year, the community has the opportunity to nominate and vote for the winners of each category. The 2021 categories include album, DJ, documentary, female artist, male artist, producer, inspirational artist, online radio station, online radio show, podcast, radio station, radio show, stand-up comedian, and web series. Winners for the 2021 Baltimore Music Awards will be announced Thursday, November the 4th, 7 p.m., live on radioonfire.com. It's the 10th annual Baltimore Music Awards. Let your voice be heard at this celebration of Baltimore entertainment. Visit radioonfire.com/Baltimore Music Awards. And I am back. You made Diamond K. We have been talking about the guilty verdict of disgraced singer R. Kelly. And R. Kelly has issued a statement via social media, sent a message to his fans. He says, "To all my fans and supporters, I love you all and thank you all for the support. Today's verdict was disappointing, and I will continue to prove my innocence and fight for my freedom. Hashtag not guilty." As I said, he's facing anywhere from 10 years to life in prison. Here's the thing, though. Even if he beat this one, even if he had beat this one, they already had two more lined up for him. And for the folks that are wondering why he did not testify in the trial, they would have crucified him in cross-examination. They really would have got him. I don't, given his circumstances, he's emotionally just not stable, but that's one way of looking at it. But let's say it was Donald Trump, for instance. His confidence would have just took him over the edge, and maybe he would have beat it. I don't know. R. Kelly just doesn't have that level of confidence, though. R. Kelly doesn't have the level of confidence. And while R. Kelly is a liar, Trump is a liar, but acts like he's telling the truth. And I don't know. I mean, it is over for R. Kelly. It's over. I used to think that he could go the gospel route, get saved, find religion, and America loves a comeback story, but I just don't see it. I don't think we're going to see him anymore. I don't think we're going to see him anymore. Too many great men downfall comes from women. I mean, Tupac, his big downfall was women or a woman. Mike Tyson, woman. R. Kelly made some bad decisions, and he deserves to be punished. I just don't know if he needs to be there for the rest of his life. I don't know if he needs 25 years. I just don't know. People make choices. Some of these women made choices. R. Kelly made some choices. There were a lot of wrong decisions made. Parents made some wrong decisions. Staff members made some wrong decisions. But life in prison, he didn't kill anybody. I haven't seen that he raped anybody. But he has been found guilty of sexual crimes. Women, girls, and boys. Several people. He deserves to go to jail. And the judge is going to roll out how long? 10 years to life. 10 years to life. Some of these people have completely flipped the script, though. Because some of these people, some of these women that were on the stand talking about what R. Kelly did to them, I also saw these same women in a video talking about it was a girlfriend and they didn't do, R. Kelly, defending them. The Gail video, right? Or whatever her name was, right? And swearing up and down that this is what it was. But now the money ran out. Now he's singing a different story. I'm just saying this. It's a lot of weird stuff mixed in with the actual stuff. And in the end, R. Kelly is guilty. And guilty of many things. And deserves punishment. Deserves punishment. Sexual predator. He definitely deserves punishment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Does R. Kelly deserve to go to jail for the rest of his life? No. He does deserve jail time, though. Let's look at this. The piece of crap cop that killed George Floyd is going to get less time than R. Kelly. Let that sink in. Your man Diamond K, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Definitely. R. Kelly going to be in jail for a long time. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8 a.m. Anywhere you get your podcast, just search The Diamond K Show. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button.